And we're back, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us. Okay, let's get right into this. Ukraine insane in the membrane. Ukraine is like a money pit for the Democrat Party, along with the Rhinocrats.
Will likes to rhyme. I thought like you were going to say insane in the membrane.
Yeah, it's pretty much like that.
Anybody remember that song?
Yeah, but you know what? They're using this as an opportunity to send billions and billions of dollars to Ukraine, which in return, like I said, this is a way for them to fill their pockets.
Maybe that should be Biden's campaign song, like when he comes out for a rally. Should be insane in the membrane.
Yeah, really. I think people would dance to it. I would dance to it. But listen to Senator Rand Paul as he's talking about this money going to Ukraine. Pop the champagne. This is what he's saying. Pop the champagne. Let me ask y'all a question. If you won the lotto, and let's say you won a lotto, and it was $1 million, $2 million, or $50 or $120 million, would you find that a reason to pop the champagne? What if you got the lotto of $60 billion? Would that be a reason to pop the champagne?
I mean, if I won $100 in the lotto, I'd pop the champagne.
Open the champagne, pop the cork. The Senate Democrat leader and the Republican leader are on their way to Kiev. They've got $60 billion they're bringing. I don't know if it'll be cash in pallets, but they're taking your money to Kiev. Now, they didn't have much time, really no time and no money to do anything about our border. We're being invaded. A literal invasion's coming across our border. 800,000 people came illegally in the last month, and all they had time to do in the Senate was get the money, get the cash pallets, load the planes, get the champagne ready, and fly to Kiev.
That's it. You see that? Get the money. Go. I mean, they're basically going there for like vacation to have a good time. I guess Fannie Willis kind of did the same thing, too. I guess that's why Fannie Willis thought she could get away with it. The laundering money and then, just go on vacations, last vacations, hire people to push the money here, push the money there, and then go have fun with it.
It's all via the Biden administration. They got money for everybody else.
Hey, she went there and had a good time. She went to the White House right before they brought all this fraudulence up against President Trump. Now, let me share this one with you. This one's probably going to make your blood boil. This is Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney on the floor talking about we need to give money to Ukraine to stop Putin. We need to give money to Ukraine to help NATO.
Can I just say something? This is a prime example of why the Senate needs to be less than 6 years.
Yes.
These people get to hold that office far too long.
6 years. And if they win twice, that's total 12 years.
Yeah. Right.
Total 12 years. And these Rhinocrats are a major problem. Mitch McConnell needs to go away. Mitt Romney, I think this is Mitt Romney's last time. This is his last run.
Yeah, he said.
But he should have been gone a long time ago. Listen, everybody.
The vote we will soon take to provide military weapons for Ukraine is the most important vote we will ever take as United States senators. We're not being asked to send American troops into war. We are asked to help the Ukrainians defend themselves. If we fail to help Ukraine, Putin will invade a NATO nation. He may delay his next invasion until he rebuilds his decimated military. But we must be clear-eyed. Ukraine is not the end. It is a step. If we fail to help Ukraine, China will eventually absorb Taiwan. If we fail to help Ukraine, we will abandon our word and our commitment, providing to our friends a view that America cannot be trusted. The Chinese Communist Party is already spreading propaganda using our delay as a warning to Taiwan that the United States will not be there to help in the face of China's threat. If we fail to help Ukraine, NATO, the alliance that's prevented great power conflict for over 75 years, will falter and eventually disintegrate.
Listen to what he's talking about. He's talking about everything Ukraine. This dude, Mitt Romney, He is a United States Senator, and he's talking about doing more for Ukraine than he is the United States of America. Let me ask y'all a question. And I've asked this question before, not here on LFA. When I first started, my question is, do y'all think what I'm about to tell you is a good idea? And I want y'all to leave me a comment. When I first started doing videos, when I started looking at what's going on in the world, and I realized under Obama, what Obama did, he shut down a whole bunch of military bases. Does anyone remember that? He shut down a whole bunch of military bases across the United States of America, whole bunch of them. And when the whole thing came out about how he was rejecting the veterans in this country, we had a whole bunch of vets, homelessness, right, was running rampant. The VA had major issues. And then I was thinking, it still does, and I was sitting there thinking, what happened if we get these retired military bases and put it out there for all veterans that are homeless to report to a camp near them that's closed. One that's been closed, report to a camp that's near them. Give them the uniform of the military that they were in, put the rank back on their shoulders, and tell them to keep it up, work there. And there's a whole bunch of government jobs that civilians are doing that can go to them. So y'all tell me, is that a bad idea? And I'm saying, why is no one else saying this? How come no one else is bringing that up? So take all this $95 billion that they're wanting to send to foreign countries. Because I've already said I support Israel through and through, but we don't need to fill anybody's bank accounts. I've already made that clear. Take that $95 billion, use that to reopen these military bases, have all the veterans show up to those bases. They will feel at home because a lot of them, they go to war and then they come back and something happens. Some of you that are vets, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You go to war, you see combat, you come back and you're just different. The civilized world is just different. Many of you know what I'm talking about. So is that a bad idea? How many vets do you think would take that opportunity to go be back on the base, to work, to live there? How many of them you think would do that? Put the rank back on them. Have them salute the officers. They would do it. Even officers that are homeless, that are vets, they would do it. And is that a bad idea? How come no one else has thought about that? It's like a no-brainer because that $95 billion could actually make that happen. Or take the $95 billion and replenish the Social Security. They keep dwindling down.
Or close the border, build the wall.
Think about it. All right, apply it to the border. That would shut the border down quickly.
If we fail to help Ukraine, America will cease to be the arsenal of democracy. It will cease to be the leader of the free world. We will be replaced by the authoritarians, China, Russia, Iran, North Korea.
Okay, so if we don't send money to Ukraine, we're going to be replaced. How stupid does he think the people are in this country? I mean, how stupid can you be?
Korea. If we fail to help the Ukraine, we'll be known not as our fathers and mothers were, the greatest generation, but as the worst generation. Now, for months, I've listened to the arguments for denying help to the Ukrainian people. I've observed that the reasons have evolved over time. First, it was claimed that Europe was not paying their fair share. That was proven incorrect. Our allies have already contributed more than $96 billion in aid, and the EU earlier this month agreed to provide $54 billion more over the next 4 years. Next, it was argued that we should instead focus on the Pacific and Taiwan. But Taiwan and Japan and South Korea tell us that the single best thing we can do to dissuade China's aggression is to support Ukraine. Next, we were told that we couldn't afford $60 billion for Ukraine-related funding. But somehow we can afford an $850 billion annual defense budget and annual trillion-dollar deficits, which has happened under both former President Trump and President Biden. Next, it was claimed that we would have insufficient weapons to defend America and Israel if we send more weapons to Ukraine. But the Department of Defense has explained that helping Ukraine will actually strengthen our national security by helping to rebuild our depleted military-industrial base. The latest excuse for denying aid to Ukraine is that this bill is a clever disguise to set up an impeachment of Donald Trump at some point in the future. Under this so-called logic, Trump has to be elected.
Are you hearing this?
I
This
don't
dude
care.
is infuriating. They've actually did put it in this bill to impeach President Trump, to tie the hands of any Republicans that get in position. This means that they pass it in this bill because he's not denying that it's there. He's not denying that it's there. But President Trump goes and he says we're not going to send any more money to Ukraine. It's automatically come up for impeachment, regardless if the Republicans control the House or not, regardless if the Democrats control the Senate or not. It automatically comes up. And the Democrats are going to say, look, you're going back on your word. You passed this bill, Republicans, so you have to impeach Trump. How in the world do you automatically put that in a bill? Because they see President Trump returning. They see him returning. They know that President Trump is going to return. This is the reason why they're already gearing up, trying to find a way to impeach him already. This is like insane. President Trump, he's been impeached twice in the House. Twice in the House. You understand what I'm saying? President Trump, when he returns, he probably will go down in history as the most impeached president in American history. I think he already holds that title. Does he not? He's already been impeached twice. The Democrats are already setting it up again. It's almost like doing the whole fake dossier all over again. You know, they brought up this whole fake dossier trying to impeach President Trump over fraudulent information, talking about Russia. And now they're putting it in the bill so they can gear up again to impeach him. Mitt Romney is a total buffoon. Okay, let me move on from him because I'm tired of looking at him. Listen to this young man talking about the money going to Ukraine. Now, let me remind y'all. Wait a minute. Before I go to him really quick, can we put the comments on the screen? Really quick. Comments on the screen. Do y'all remember when I'm constantly telling y'all, and I said it here in the beginning, that they're pouring money into the bank accounts in Ukraine because Mitch McConnell, Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, all of these people are making money every single time we send money to Ukraine? Have y'all heard me say that? How many times have y'all heard me say that? It's like a broken record, right? My producer reminds me all the time that I remind people all the time because I'm saying it all the time because it's always presenting itself. Go back to the video now. Listen to what this young man says about the bank accounts in Ukraine. Y'all remember you heard it here first.
My goodness, we have enough money to make hundreds of millions of dollars of our taxpayer funds available to the private sector in Ukraine. We are now literally funding their businesses, their banks.
We're funding their businesses, their banks. I'm a small business. LFA is a small business that's growing leaps and bounds. How come they don't want to support LFA? But they rather support Ukraine, which actually hates America. Bunch of Nazis. They hate America. But they want to pour money there. And see, now for him to bring up the whole idea about them putting money in banks in Ukraine, look, I know there's a money trail. How do you follow the money? Someone needs to follow the money.
Lord knows what. We've got money without end. We've got enough money to pay for bureaucrats' salaries. We've got enough money to pay for Ukrainian government officials' pensions. We've got enough money for so-called humanitarian aid that gets funneled away from, siphoned off into any manner of corrupt uses. We won't know because we don't have a special inspector general to oversee this money, but that's a different story. Oh no, we've got plenty of money. And I have listened carefully to colleague after colleague of mine come to this floor and stand where I am now and say, it's so important that we spend this money on these overseas wars. We must spend the money if we don't spend this money now, why, it may cost us more money in the future. No, it's imperative. It's imperative that we spend this money. Meanwhile, these same people turn to the citizens of Missouri and say, you're not worth a dime. They say, you can't have a penny. They turn to the residents of Kentucky and Tennessee and Alaska and New Mexico and Arizona and Utah and Texas, and they say, we don't care that you were poisoned. We don't have a dime for you. We have unlimited money for Ukraine. We're going to rebuild the borders of Ukraine. That's in this bill, but we don't have anything for you.
We have nothing for you. Nothing for you. The very fact that he can go on the floor and say that the U.S. federal government is taking your money, $95 billion of it, and wanting to give it to other nations that don't need our money, and say that you don't deserve anything while the gas prices are going up, while the food cost is going up, while your electric bill's going up, while the gas bill's going up, while everything for Americans are going up, you don't get anything, but they get it all. If they're not sending it overseas, they're giving it to illegal immigrants coming into the country. This is the most stupidest, dumbest, ignoramus time ever in the United States of America. It's literally unbelievable that they're doing this. It really is.
You like the content Will Johnson is producing? To stay informed and up to date with the current events, go ahead and hit the thumbs up and subscribe to see more videos like this one. Also, to find Will Johnson, visit www.uaf.media.